Hi, and welcome to Section 8-1. Our topic today is recording adjusting entries. Back in Chapter 6, when we created our worksheet, you had listed adjustments in the adjustments column. We had calculated those manually, and that is where we left them. Well, now in Chapter 8, we're going to take those adjustments that we had calculated on the worksheet, and we're going to journalize them into the general journal. It's a fairly simple process. This is what we're going to be creating using the adjusting entries. This is a portion of the general journal, and you can see that all we're going to do is take the 4 adjusting entries that we had created back here in the worksheet and journalize them. You can recall back in the worksheet, our adjustments, we either had listed the letter A next to them, the letter B next to them. Well, now we know why, because now we're going to list them in that order on the journal based on the letters that we assign to them. We're going to list the letter A's first, and then we'll complete the letter B's second. So what I would like you to do is open up to the 8-1 work together in your textbook, which is on page 205 in your textbook. And you can see that I have placed on the top of my screen there a screenshot of what the worksheet looked like for those adjusting entries that we are about to journalize. In the directions, they tell you that for Darlene's delivery service, this is for the month of July 31st of the current year, and it says that we need to use page 4 of the general journal and journalize and post the adjusting entries. Okay? This is using page 4 of your general journal. I believe that you do have to write the page number on the top of the journal, so make sure that you write page 4 before you complete anything else. And the first thing that you're going to do is place a heading on the first line of the general journal on line number 1 called adjusting entries. So write the words adjusting entries on the top line of your general journal. And now we're going to post these to our general journal. So look at the top of the screen there. That's, again, a portion of the worksheet. And you can see that we made adjusting entries for supplies expense, prepaid insurance, and insurance expense. Because the supplies had the letter A's next to them, we're going to list those first. But remember, when we journalize, we have to list debits first, credits second. Okay, so keep that in mind. So the letter A's, we had supplies and supplies expense. Supplies expense is the debit, supplies was the credit. So we're going to list supplies expense first, since that is the debit, and this is July 31st of the current year. So don't forget that on the top line of any journal, we always must include the full year, the full month, and the date, because it is the top line. So you have the month, we have our account title supplies expense, and we have the debit amount of $713 that appears exactly as it looks on the top in the worksheet. Now we have to have our credit. So we look at the worksheet. The credit was supplies for $713. So we're writing supplies, and in the credit column, $713. You do not have to worry about listing the post-reference numbers yet. That will become later in sections 8-2. So for now, you just have to list the date, the account title, and the debit or credit amount. So we've just completed the letter A's, which were supplies, expense, and supplies. Now we look at our worksheet, we have the letter B's, and those refer to prepaid insurance and insurance expense. So we're going to list insurance expense first because that is the debit. Debits first, credits second. So insurance expense, which is still the date of the 31st, and that was the amount of $300, just as it appears on the top of the screen. The credit account title would be prepaid insurance, and that is for $300 as well. So we have insurance expense as our debit and prepaid insurance as our credit. And that is it. That is how you journalize your adjusting entries. You only have 4 lines total in addition to the heading on the top there. Debits, credits, and then debits and credits. So now you'll go ahead and complete the on your own. The directions are again on page 205, and I will see you later when we complete section 8-2.